Hey, this is Stone. Good morning. If it's the morning for you or whenever you are listening to this podcast, I hope you are having a great day today. Today, we are going to talk about the magical word that gives us the gift of time. And it's really one word. Before I tell you what the word is, let me tell you a little bit about my past experience. I speak in a previous video about a time in my life when I actually had a nervous breakdown. And it sounds funny to even say that, but it was a very, very challenging time in my life, and that's the best words that I can use to describe it. And in short, what really caused this nervous breakdown was this has been a decade or so ago, and I had just began my insurance business. It's the insurance business that I own today, and I had been involved in ministry on a part-time basis, but I had just really began a ministry, a youth ministry, in a church that my wife and I had just started attending. And so I have this perfect storm of two different areas that are going to take a lot of time to get up and going. And so not only did I have these two Herculean projects that I was working on, but I also am someone that I want to serve. And I feel called to serve others, I think, very naturally. I'm someone who likes to please. And whenever somebody comes to me and asks me for something, my natural tendency is to immediately say yes. And so not only did I have this ministry, but I also had my business, and I had people coming to me because of those two things, asking me to do things for them within the ministry, to talk to themselves or to do something for their children. Within the business, people would be asking me to serve in certain ways. I wanted to go above and beyond and do things that weren't even really required of me, but that's just in my nature, is to do that. And I found myself saying yes and committing and over committing, as you can imagine, to all of these things, till one day the burden became so heavy that that's just what led to really me just feeling like I had this huge burden of weight on my shoulders. I'll put a link to the video where I really explain what I did from that point forward, and it really kind of became the genesis of my time management experience and my time management education. But I'll put a link to that video, and it really more so details that experience. But for the sake of today, the reason that I got to that place is because I did not really understand the magical word that gives us the gift of time. There's a great quote by Warren Buffett, and that quote is, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. The magical word that gives the gift of time is no. It's a very simple word that can be a very difficult word to say, and that's the reason why it is so magical, is because so few people have mastered the art of saying no in the right way. Now, number one, we teach others how to treat us. And I don't know who originally said that, but it's very true. And when it comes to saying no or committing ourselves to something, we train those that we love and those around us as to what to expect when they come asking something of us. It can be difficult to say no, but if we unpack Warren Buffett's quote, what he's really saying is people who know their purpose, or they feel like they have found their purpose in life, their greatest gift, are moving in that direction. And like a horse wearing blinders, that horse doesn't see the other things coming at them, right? They just see what's right in front of them. So the reason why really successful people say no most of the time is because most of the time that successful person is presented with opportunities because they're successful people, but they know what their main focus or focuses are. And so they end up saying no. Whenever somebody comes up to you asking you to do something that's really on their agenda, or something that is a fire burning for them and it's something that's going to throw your schedule out of whack, you really have to assess whether this is going to serve the greatest good or not. Because you might be able to serve this person, but can you serve in a much greater way through your greatest gift? But we teach others how to treat us by whether we say no or not. Now, you might understand the psychology behind that. I mean, you might get, yes, I'm training someone every time I say yes or no, whether I'm going to say it the next time, but that doesn't make it any easier for me to say no. And I really want to give you two what I call pause phrases, and this is really my second point, two pause phrases that will allow you to say no, okay? This makes it much, much easier to be able to say no, and it really doesn't even feel like a no. And truth be told, you're not even actually saying no, you're getting a pause away from the situation. Because when we are the weakest as people who want to serve and people who are people pleasers, is when we're face to face with the person and they ask something of us. So number two is you agree to nothing on the spot. Now, there may be instances where you can and should, but for the vast majority, do not agree to anything on the spot. And the two phrases, the two pause phrases that you can use that work for me and have worked for me for years are number one, let me check my calendar. Okay, if somebody comes to you and they're asking you for an appointment or to meet them for some opportunity in a meeting, really anything where you have to immediately commit a time on your calendar, it's very simple to say, let me check my calendar. If you believe it's a good opportunity, you can say, that sounds like a great opportunity, but let me check my calendar and get back with you. I can't tell you how many times a day I use the phrase, okay, let me check my calendar and get back with you. Because I know my own weakness and I need to step back from that situation. And when I do, I can think more clearly. I can truly check my schedule and look and see if this is going to be something I want to do. But what if somebody comes to you and they're not asking you for a specific time appointment, they're asking you to do something for them, or they're asking you to take on a project? Well, what you say is, let me look at the scope of this task and get back with you. Let me look at the scope of this task and get back with you. You're not committing, you're not saying yes or no. What you're really saying is, let me see what I'm really going to have to get into with this and get back to you. That's the second pause phrase. Those two, they are so much easier to say than trying to say no on the spot or just saying yes on the spot, because they give you the time to step back and take the time, giving yourself the gift of being able to say that magical word no, if indeed that's what you need to do. And you will find that the majority of the time, for most people, it is what you need to say. So then number three is say no, but give another option. If this is something that you need to say no to, don't just say no, but take just a small amount of time to give another option. Point them to another person, point them to another resource, point them to another idea. Give that person something valuable rather than just saying no and giving them this emotional rejection or a roadblock. Say, this is a great opportunity. I do not at the moment have the time availability, but guess what? You can go to Bob. I know Bob is excellent in this area, and see what he thinks. It's much easier to say no when there's another option available. I can tell you from my own experience, from life experience, that saying no is an art. Being able to say no for most of us who want to take care of others, in order to do it correctly and in order to do it when it should be done, it's an art. And it's something that you don't learn overnight. The purpose of really these three ideas is not so you immediately have this down, but really it's an exercise. Okay, and like all good exercises, it's something that you need to practice daily in order to develop that part of you. So if you follow these 3 steps, you will end up saving yourself a lot of heartache, burden that should not be placed on you, and you'll free up an enormous amount of time to do what you really need to be doing. I hope you have found this helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, you can download the blueprint for this video at stonejordan.info. Just click blueprints at the top of the page. I hope you have a great week this week. Please remember that this week is a gift, so be purposeful and productive with it. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great day.